What's up, guys? Long time no hear. Been busy with a lot of different things, and in the next day or two, I'm heading to Italy and we'll be away for a while. But when I come back, if I'm alive, if I survive, etc., I do plan on getting back to this channel and doing a bit more work on it. Periodically getting back to it, that kind of thing. However, I do have some relatively big news, if you want to call it news, that is. Apparently, someone posted something on Mass Effect Reddit concerning a leak or leaked information, or perhaps something that was simply revealed to the gentleman. I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. However, what he's presented here, and I will be posting a link, of course, seems in all likelihood plausible. It doesn't seem implausible, and it might be worth having a look. Now, I'm going to read off what he's written, offer some commentary, and of course you can check out the link and have a gander yourself to get an idea of what's going on. Last month, I took a random survey about Mass Effect 4. Here's what I found out. Sometimes I take surveys online for a little extra money. One day last month, I got one with this: the next Mass Effect context. The next Mass Effect game takes place in the Helios cluster, a cluster of hundreds of solar systems in the Andromeda Galaxy, far removed by time and space from Commander Shepard's heroic acts and the final events of Mass Effect's trilogy. You're a Pathfinder, a combat-trained but untested explorer leading an expedition into the Helios cluster to establish a new home for humanity. As you explore this sprawling series of solar systems, over 4 times the size of Mass Effect 3, collecting resources and building colonies, you will encounter the savagery of untamed lands in the form of cutthroat outlaws and warring alien races. To survive and colonize the wild reaches of space, you will need to grow your arsenal, your ship, your crew, and make strategic and often uneasy alliances to fight against increasingly menacing foes. Along the way, you will encounter the remains of a once powerful and mysterious alien race, the Remnant, whose forgotten technology holds the key to gaining power in this region of the galaxy. As you uncover who the Remnant were and the mysteries their ruins contain, you are drawn into a violent race to find the source of their forgotten technology that will determine the fate of humanity. Okay, first commentary. Like I said, this is entirely plausible, but immediately questions and thoughts spring to mind. Obviously, they're doing a retcon of a sort. You can't have a sordid mess of the sort of Mass Effect 3's type, that is, the ending is specific, to be specific, and then just continue that. So, Andromeda Galaxy, all the way away from anything close to what Shepard has done, and I've also heard that temporally it just says far removed by time and space. Okay, cool, whatever. Doesn't mean, because it's unconnected to the events, that it has to be a bad game. In fact, BioWare was really left with a few options concerning this. But it does seem to be anthropocentric. It seems to be about humans again, people. Humanity exploring a series of solar systems in the faraway Andromeda Galaxy. Okay, well, I don't understand why Mass Effect developers asked fans, about non-human characters, or protagonists, that is. But if this is true, if this be true, then we're just going to be stuck with more humans. As I read further down, you'll see there are, according to this, alien crew members, as is custom for Mass Effect, and another question that springs to mind is how they get around. I mean, there are no relays. Presumably, the Reapers didn't have access to the Andromeda Galaxy, so there are no mass relays floating around. I'm not sure how our intrepid explorer, metaphorical heir to the greatness of Shepard, is going to explore hundreds of solar systems in the Andromeda Galaxy. This too shall be revealed. And finally, Really? The Remnant technology, Prothean technology. How similar is that to Prothean technology, of course, which turned out to be in large measure Reaper technology? But fair enough. Having a mysterious civilization is not a bad thing. You have the Dwemer in Tamriel and the Elder Scrolls. You had the Reapers and the Protheans, kind of, and we'll see what's done with that. This next one. Collect resources to fuel your growth. Scour solar systems and planets within the Helios cluster to find valuable resources and blueprints of long-forgotten alien technology that will allow you to better craft equipment and weapons, such as improving your leg armor to allow you to jetpack jump, or upgrading your cryo beam laser cannon to target enemies or do area damage. You clear out those close threats. In order to clear out those close threats, as you build your arsenal and resource infrastructure, you'll be able to explore deeper into the increasingly dangerous and resource-rich solar systems of the Helios cluster. Okay, once again, how does one explore multiple solar systems when solar systems in the former Mass Effect were linked via mass relays? And without those mass relays, people, races, aliens were effectively cut off from each other because they just didn't have the technology to do it without it. So I guess if it's far removed in time, there are new means of locomotion. So maybe it's something to do with that. Who knows? A capable crew. Throughout the story, you will recruit 7 distinct crew members to fight by your side. Each crew member has a unique personality and special abilities that open up strategic options as you choose which 2 of them to bring into each mission. For example, Cora has the ability to deploy a biotic shield that protects everyone in the bubble while still allowing your squad to fire out of it. Your crew will grow alongside you as you explore the Helios cluster, and you can choose how to upgrade your crew's weapons, gear, and abilities to increase their individual combat effectiveness. Create the perfect squad to react to any situation and to support your preferred game style. Your crew, your story. Your crew members aren't merely hired guns. They're part of the living universe in the Helios cluster that develops in response to your actions and choices. Increase each crew member's loyalty by pursuing missions that are important to that specific character. For example, when a Krogan colony ship has been stolen by one of the outlaw factions, leaving colonists stranded without resources to survive, your Krogan squad mate Drac is determined to strike out against them. If you take the mission and help them track down the outlaws' hideout to return the ship to its rightful owners, Drac's loyalty towards you and your squad will increase, and Drac will unlock a brand new skill tree. Okay. And then explore each individual background story and develop your relationship with them through conversations and unique missions. True to Mass Effect, what you choose to say will directly affect your crew's loyalty and relationship with you, and will open up different conversations and narrative opportunities at the end of the game, depending on how you approach each encounter. So, okay. You have a crew, apparently, if according to this, of 7 members. That seems fairly standard. Let's see, what did the original Mass Effect had? You had Garrus, you had Rex, you had Ashley and or Caden, so that's 3. You had Leora, obviously, and Talent. Okay, so I think 1 more than the original, possibly. Not bad, and of course not as many as Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect 3, but yeah, this sounds okay, I guess. Krogan squad mate Drac. That's a nice name. But as far as this unlocking abilities thing is concerned, well, they had this in Mass Effect 2, right? You did the loyalty mission, and all of a sudden they got that special bonus power or whatever. Could be interesting. I don't know. A lot of it sounds very similar to certain things that have been done in Mass Effect already, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. But I guess we will see. how this all plays out. Maybe it'll be interesting characters. Well, we know that they're alien characters at the very least. We at least, according to this, have a Krogan squad mate by the name of Drac. Next up, deployed strike team missions. The Helios cluster is thousands of light years across, and you can't be everywhere at once. As you develop more colonies, resource bases, and settlements, you have to be able to keep them safe. Spend resources to recruit mercenaries and develop an AI-controlled strike team that you can deploy to take on randomly generated time-sensitive missions. Strike team missions take many forms, including settlement defense and remnant artifact recovery, which will take real time to complete. Send your strike team out on a mission while you continue playing the main game, and they will return 20 to 30 minutes later. Having gained rewards such as XP currency and equipment based on the success of their missions. Spend money and resources to train your strike team and acquire better gear for them, which will increase their success rate and allow them to take on more difficult missions for greater rewards. Yeah. Okay. This sounds like the Dragon Age Inquisition war table, transposed to Mass Effect 4, whatever it's called. Strike teams being sent out on strategic missions and blah, 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 time-sensitive missions, da-da-da. This sounds like the war table. The war table was not horrible, but it wasn't anything special either, and it just seemed like busy time most of the time. It seemed like a feature that hadn't been fully fleshed out in Dragon Age Inquisition. And as many of you know, I think Dragon Age Inquisition was a pretty bad game. Just because there's this strike team thingamajig going on, if it is to be believed, all of this, doesn't necessarily make it a bad game. Maybe they'll actually do a good job with it. I'm most skeptical of this, to be honest, but yeah, very, very skeptical, but we'll see. Active strike team missions, as opposed to deploy strike team missions, right? When you encounter a strike team mission in single-player mode, you can leave your strike team at their base and decide to tackle the mission yourself with your multiplayer roster of characters. Oh, yeah. You can also have the option of tackling the mission by yourself or recruiting up to 3 friends to play with you. The more friends you bring, the greater the challenge and the greater the reward. These missions will play out using the next Mass Effect's multiplayer Horde Mode. More details on this later. These missions will include a variety of thematically appropriate objectives like defending a settlement against Ket attacks or recovering a remnant artifact off a planet before an outlaw gang gets there first. By taking an active role in strike team missions, you can earn special single-player rewards in addition to the usual multiplayer-specific character weapons, weapon mods, and pieces of equipment which can be customized between missions. Additionally, players can join another person's strike team mission and will receive bonus in-game currency and multiplayer XP for helping out others with their missions. Okay, well, this seems to be... Well, obviously they were going to bring back some multiplayer, so it's sort of integrated into the game. I don't mind multiplayer having some effect on single player. I know some people might mind that, but yeah, okay. Horde mode? I hope it's not just Horde mode. But I think most of us were most looking forward to multiplayer since multiplayer was the highlight of Mass Effect 3 as opposed to the story and the ending. That is, multiplayer versus single player. Let's hope that both are very good this time around, but we don't know. Multiplayer Horde Mode. The next Mass Effect's Horde multiplayer pits you and up to 3 of your friends against waves of enemy troops on various battlefields throughout the galaxy. Players fight together to survive increasingly difficult enemy attacks and accomplish objectives, like disabling a bomb near a colony base or assassinating a target. Progress through multiplayer missions to gain XP and earn new multiplayer-specific characters, weapons, weapon mods, and pieces of equipment, which can be customized between matches. Multiplayer will earn you Apex funds, in-game currency, which can be used to purchase items and gear in the single-player game. Ooh, interesting. So according to this, it looks, if this is to be believed, once again, if this be believed, there will be full integration between multiplayer and single player. Apex funds that you can earn in multiplayer that has an effect on the gear and items you get in single player. Ooh, that's going to piss off a lot of people. Not me, mind you, but I think a lot of people will be upset by that. People who, for whatever reason, don't like multiplayer. Fair enough. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It sounds like a fully integrated multiplayer mode within the single player. That is, you can actually do things in multiplayer that affect at least certain gameplay aspects of single player, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, I think. I guess we'll have to see what happens there. So, next up on the list, establish settlements. Search solar systems for rare habitable planets to establish a settlement that could serve as a base for humankind's new home in the Helios cluster. As you build permanent settlements, you will make strategic choices on where to focus your new base's resources. For example, recon settlements will clear fog of war from the space map and give players more strike team missions to choose from, while mining settlements will periodically supplement the player's supply of crafting minerals. Okay. So settlements are somehow related to the war table. We're going to call this the war table. Interesting. Fog of war. Different kinds of strike team missions. Interesting. Dialogue. Building upon the rich history of strategic dialogue that has defined the Mass Effect series, you can make meaningful choices in every conversation you have with characters that impact the way your game evolves. The next Mass Effect adds deeper control over your conversations through an ability to interrupt and change the course of conversation as it is happening. During each conversation, or rather during certain conversations, you will be able to take action-based choices, such as an option to pull out your gun and force someone to open a door instead of convincing them to do it through conversation guile. Interesting. Action-based choices give you more options for how to approach dialogue with characters in the game and can lead to more extreme outcomes on the story as it evolves around the decisions you make when you're interacting with a huge cast of NPC characters. Yeah. Okay, so sort of renegade interrupts on steroids, I don't know. Seamlessly travel through the next Mass Effect universe. As you pilot your spaceship, Tempest, not Normandy, Tempest, across the hundreds of solar systems that are seamlessly connected in the next Mass Effect, you will encounter new planets filled with very valuable resources, intelligent life, conflict, and alien technology that all give you opportunities to increase the power of your character, your ship, and your team so that you can build them into a force that perfectly suits your gameplay style. Transitions between activities, like flying your Tempest spaceship across a solar system to land on a mineral-rich planet, then jumping into your Mako land vehicle to explore the surface of the planet, all happen smoothly without loading screens. Well, it might happen smoothly without loading screens, but how is this so far into the future that humans have developed technology that lets them traverse solar systems without Mass Effect relays? If so, I hope this is explained in some sort of codex, because that's quite interesting to say the least. But yeah, we'll see. I guess seamlessly. It's all seamless. Customize and share your experience. Discover new things in Andromeda Galaxy, like alien artifacts and natural wonders that serve as trophies and decorations that you can use to modify the look of your character, Tempest and Mako. Those are the spaceships and land vehicles, respectively. Customize the way your squad and your character look, and with clothes and aesthetic modifications that you unlock throughout the game. Photos you take from the far reaches of the galaxy can be used to decorate your starship or sold to certain characters. Really? Remnant Vault Raids. Find and activate Remnant monoliths to unlock Remnant Vaults. Explore abandoned Remnant ruins to find and locate a powerful artifact, but once you remove it, you will trigger the Vault defenses that will arm traps, activate defense robots, and even change the architecture of the Vault itself to stop you from escaping. Find your way out of the Vault, and you will be rewarded with valuable loot, including powerful gear, crafting resources, and star keys that can be used to unlock massive orbital facilities in space and grant permanent stat bonuses. Okay, so this sounds a little bit like Indiana Jones, except you're out in space. Sounds kind of interesting. Optional elite Remnant Vault raids are scattered around the Helios cluster, located in special orbital facilities that are unlocked by star keys. Similar to the standard Remnant Vaults, you enter them to retrieve a special artifact which will trigger the vault defenses that arm traps, activate defense robots, and change the architecture of the vault itself to stop you from escaping. However, elite vaults ratchet up the difficulty of the encounter with increasingly powerful defense robots and traps, as well as roaming outlaws and deadly Ket patrols that are also in search of the elite artifacts. Elite Remnant artifacts will test the limits of your combat and puzzle-solving acumen, but with greater difficulty comes greater rewards. Gain rare loot, narrative acclaim, and huge rewards for completing these daunting challenges. Okay, so these are the even more of a challenge of the raiding the vaults and what have you. Ket Outpost. As you explore planets throughout the Helios cluster, you will encounter Ket Outposts. These outposts are optional combat experiences where you enter the outposts and fight off waves of enemies. Destroy Ket Outposts to earn XP rewards and thwart their growing power in the region. Your allies will reward you with praise and increased narrative options as you fight to remove the Ket presence from the region. Drive and upgrade your Mako land vehicle. Explore the surfaces of hundreds of planets in the Helios cluster in your versatile land vehicle, the Mako. Whether you are looking for a place to set up a colony, searching for a remnant vault, or attacking the Ket outpost, you will enjoy getting there in your Mako. Equip and upgrade your Mako in dozens of ways, like adding turbo boosters, upgrading your shield generator, or adding a hostile detector to your radar to create the ultimate planetary exploration vehicle. Finally, get your Mako looking the way you want with a custom paint job. And the gentleman then writes, they ask my satisfaction with each of those descriptions. You can choose for yourself whether or not to believe me, but please look at my posting history first. I'm no troll, edit, and I love Mass Effect. Okay, so we find out about Mass Effect, and a lot of this doesn't seem implausible. This seems like something a Mass Effect team might do or create. It's unfortunate that Mac Walters is still there, but I mean, I just don't trust the guy, Mac Walters. There are a couple of things that really just sort of spring to mind that, or just kind of fall into my field of vision. I'm just thinking as I visualize it, what is up with this remnant thing? I mean, ancient, lost, buried, forgotten civilizations, a really overdone trope. It can be effective, but I think they overdid it and totally fucked it up with Mass Effect with the Protheans and the Reapers. So why add this whole remnant thing? Unless they make the remnant civilization or the technology they offer and their scattered history so interesting that it's compelling to find out about them. But I think this pre-ancient history thing is a bit overdone, and I don't know. Maybe they just didn't have any other ideas. Maybe, obviously, if Mac Walters is the lead writer, then yeah, that might be one of the reasons. No. They need to explain how you're going to, if this is true, they need to explain how you're going to get around the solar systems without Mass Effect relays or anything, or some equivalent. If you're just flying around in your spaceship, the Tempest, then yeah, that's going to be impressive if we're that far off. And the Andromeda is quite far away, so, obviously a sort of a paint job, a cover-up to the mess of Mass Effect 3. The Ket, I don't know what the Ket are. They keep on mentioning the Ket. Maybe some primary alien race that is from the Andromeda Galaxy, as opposed to humans. The ever-encroaching humans. Krogans are there, we know, based on this. If this is true, Drac, the Krogan crew member. They mentioned a biotic. Maybe that biotic is going to be in Asari. I mean, who knows? One probably can assume that there will be no references or cross-references to the previous Mass Effect titles, because this is, as they put it, light years away from anything that ever happened back then. But all in all, this sounds pretty interesting. I wouldn't say it sounds promising, because a lot of this stuff has been done before. I mean, the War Table thing. Yeah, this is like Dragon Age War Table. It could be well done, but it could also be a total fuck-up and a total mess-up. So we're going to have to see what happens with this. But, it could be hit or miss. And it does look like multiplayer, according to this, is fully integrated into the game. That is single player. that might not please many people. I don't care either way. As long as there's a good multiplayer in addition to a really good single player, I'm down. I think this game, for me, will be my final attempt at dealing with BioWare. It is true that Dragon Age Inquisition was quote-unquote popular, in the sense that people got it and whatever, but a lot of veterans, older folks, such as myself, we were disappointed with. Let's hope that Mass Effect 4, whatever it's called, actually delivers. Who knows what it's actually going to be like at the end of the day, but it doesn't sound bad. It sounds okay. All the things that were mentioned in this survey reveal thing are things that could potentially go totally wrong, such as planetary exploration, or things that could go totally right if it's done well, and we're just going to have to see. So, that's all I have to say on that for now. Let's keep our ears perked and our eyes open for future information, and if I come across it, I will be sure to inform you as well, because I know many of you, if not most of you, are Mass Effect fans, despite the abomination we call Mass Effect 3 single player. And I will, in all likelihood, if I'm not dead and I survive, see you after Italy. So thanks for watching, and if you feel like leaving comments, please do so. As always, may the gods watch over you. Bye-bye.